Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Silvers, but you can call me Josh, and welcome to episode 3 of Behind the Screens. Today I have another very special guest. Would you mind introducing yourself, please?
Yeah, no problem. My name is Ruby or Lumi, depending on which social media platform you find me on first. I'm a virtual YouTuber slash content creator. Um, I've been mainly doing streaming recently, but I've been dipping my toes into content creation for maybe about 5 to 6 years now. Hmm.
Got it, got it. So so you've been streaming more, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What kind of,
I've actually. Oh,
oh,
sorry.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Um, I've been kind of streaming since 2016. It's like when I first got like my gaming laptop, but I didn't really know much about it, and I only started like doing streaming recently because of like the whole like VTuber thing,
Hmm.
which made me like more comfortable like streaming and whatnot. Mhm.
Got it. I guess what kind of games do you usually stream from time to time?
Usually what I'm just feeling, honestly. I stream mainly like FF14, Final Fantasy 14. It's just kind of like the main game that I like to lean on, but I mainly like streaming uh when I'm playing with like a bunch of friends or like if there's a new game that's come out, like those are usually the only times that I stream. Um I guess like other games that I usually play like League of Legends, Valorant, a lot of like multiplayer games because I like playing with members of my community or like just playing with other people in general.
Mm, got it, got it.
Mhm.
Personally, what do you think? What are good games to stream? Like for your audience, or just what do you think are some good streamer games?
Like I said, anything that like you're able to engage with your audience with. 14 does like a really good job with that because there's a lot of like pretty much like all like the content in the game you can like do it with other people,
Mm.
right? So like a lot of streamers, a lot of my friends who are streamers, they do like this thing called Party Finder where you can like um give like the stream like a password and then like they'll be able to join your lobby and like you'll be able to do things like raids and whatnot. There's
Hmm.
actually like a Fall Guys collab that just dropped in 14, and that's a lot of fun because like it's just like all like free for all, right? So like only one person can win. So yeah. Other than that, I mean, I try to like play games that are not really like story driven.
Yeah.
um I'd love to play like story driven games on stream, but like I feel like if you start streaming it and then like somebody like misses out on like one stream, then like it kind of sucks to be them, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of like focus on like multiplayer or like kind of like pick up and put down games like League, Omega Strikers, Valorant again, like I said, 14, Rainbow Six Siege is another big one that I like playing a lot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think what you mentioned, like the single player games, right? Like for me personally, like I wanted to stream all of Xenoblade 3 on stream, but at some point I realized I don't want to do it because I want to play it on my own. I don't want to have to wait till I stream again to get through the story and stuff. So I think that side too kind of fits. Like if they missed out on the story part, at least the VOD or something will be there, right?
Yeah, and that's why I kind of don't do um like main content in 14 like when it drops
Mm-hmm.
on stream. I personally like would do it out of stream. Just because like, not that much people in my stream or not everyone's like caught up, right, in the
Yeah.
story. So I don't want to just like drop it there and like spoil people. But you know, I know like a lot of people, especially like in the 14 community, they like enjoy watching people's reactions to like specific like moments in the story. Um, but like I don't know, like it's really hard for me to kind of find out that balance right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Like I really want to share the story, but like at the same time, like I want people to experience it on their own, which is why I do like side content mainly when I'm playing 14.
mm. And like when I like as a viewer, as many of us were back then, like I wanted to see what people how people reacted to a specific part in the story. Like you mentioned, 14, right? You want people to experience the story on their own. Usually, when I finish or like I finish a certain part of a story, I try and look to see how people like reacted to it as well. You know, like if like a really sad part, like really got to someone, or like and like oh yeah, I did the same thing, or like I made the mistake, kind of like a pivotal moment in games, right? So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
like seeing other people go through it and like relating in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the 14 community really loves like just other people reacting to their games. So yeah.
Hmm. So I guess because you said you've been streaming for since 2016. Um, did you just recently like commit and pick it up? Like how long have you been actually like streaming and also making like scripted content on YouTube?
Yeah, so like in 2016 it was kind of like an iffy year for me because I was still in high school at that time. And I just wanted to like stream casually. Uh so I didn't really know what I was doing. So I kind of like stopped streaming for a while, focused on like, content creation for a bit. And wasn't really until like honestly the start of the pandemic when I started streaming again. And that was also like the right time where like VTubers were becoming like a big thing, and that sparked my interest. And yeah, I mean, I would I wouldn't say that like I'm doing it like frequently or like every single day, but like I'm doing it more frequently than I was before. And like, you know, I'm not really quite sure if I'll be doing it to like earn money and whatnot, even
Yeah.
though like I did get partnered like I think uh like maybe a couple months ago.
Oh wow.
It's just yeah. I think it's partnered or like the first level.
Oh,
Not the
affiliate.
affiliate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I was like,
affiliate.
dang, you got partnered already?
No,
Dang.
no, I wish, but yeah, I've been like trying to like, you know, keep in touch with like a couple of like streamers in within like the community, like in 14 or whatnot, and just like, like talking story with them and whatnot, and hopefully like someday I'll be able to like collab with them. I already have like a video which I did. It's called what does Final Fantasy 14 mean to you? And I was very lucky to have two streamers who are kind of big. One of them, his name is Quantity3. He's pretty big now. He just turned in his partner application, I believe, about 8 days ago. So he's just waiting up on that. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I didn't think that networking would be really hard.
Mm.
I'm just like really nervous when it comes to like networking. So yeah.
I I never raid people just because I get nervous. Like, it's like who the heck is this like random person raiding me? Like
Mm-mm.
it's like I've had maybe two people that quote unquote like knew me like before, but they didn't know who like. Oh, they just saw my name, but they didn't know who it was, kind of thing.
Mm-mm.
So I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, that was awkward. I kind of don't want to do it again. But I think with like rating, that's how people meet other like are able to network with other people, right?
Yeah, and I feel like just the awkwardness is just part of the job, you know,
Mm,
especially when you're like starting off. Like a lot of people, if you were asking like other streamers, like what's the hardest thing you had to deal with like before you like became like a big like YouTuber, VTuber, streamer, or whatever, and it's honestly, talking to yourself. Like you can go kind of crazy, just talking to yourself in stream. But like, after a while, you get used to it, and like, um, for me, like I just pretend like there's an audience like, behind me. Like I grew up playing games for like my cousins because like
Mm-hmm.
they just like watching me play games, so I like often like commentate on like what I was doing, or like just try to be as like expressive as possible. So I try to like bring that energy to when I stream, which
Mm.
kind of relates to the infrequency that I stream, because like sometimes I'm just not feeling it. So yeah.
Yeah, I've I remember. Well, I used to be like your little cousin, just be watching like you're someone like your older brother play video games, but I don't know why, but I started trying to backseat my brother while playing. He's like playing COD, and I was just like, oh, maybe I should stop because he seemed like he was getting irritated at one point.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I tried to emulate. Like I thought about that. I'm like, oh, well, he's had me watch him while he plays, so try to explain what I'm doing while I play. Right, kind of helps.
Mhm.
Like talk to myself, even if there's no one watching.
Right, right. Yeah, it's just something to get used to. It's just a matter of time, honestly. Like you can force yourself to do it, but like it was just like a matter of time for it to come out like naturally.
Okay, moving on. What are you? Sorry. What have been your favorite streams slash videos you've actually made? I know you mentioned your what does Final Fantasy XIV mean to you? Does that like a big one for you?
Yeah, that was an extremely big one. Not only because like it was kind of like my first kind of cinematic approach to like videos. It also like was a very like personal project for me because like I met my like kind of like my close friends through the pandemic, through Final Fantasy XIV, which is why it means a lot to me. And the video footage that I used was actually like the first time that I met them all. So like that was my first time like going to FanFest, which is like the fan event for Final Fantasy XIV, but also meeting like a lot of like my close friends for the first time in like 4 to 3 years. So it really meant a lot to me. Um, in terms of like other videos that like I really enjoyed, um, there's like this weird format. It's kind of niche, but like I like making like videos that are like kind of like anime intros.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have this one where I like made an anime intro for my FC, and I used Brave Shine in it. So it's just like it was really cool though. Like I just like putting like those types of videos together. In terms of streaming, like literally just whenever I'm streaming with friends, those are like always like my core memories of streaming. Where it be League or Final Fantasy 14. There's actually like a couple of streams. I don't know if it's on my channel or on my FC Leaders channel, but we used to do like these raids called Near Raids. It's like a collaboration with a game called Near Automata,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of like pretty funny moments that we that we did there. That like even up to now kind of like stick with me. So yeah, just playing games with friends, having a good time. Those are always like good core memories of mine.
Got it. Um. Oh, sorry. I'll cut that out. But anyways, moving on. What is your? I guess we'll talk about your community. What is your average viewership and what's your current following?
If you're talking about like views per like stream, I would say like maybe about 14 to 20 viewers. I mean, like I would consider myself pretty small, only because like, or mainly because like I like don't stream as often, and I feel like consistency is like really the key to like being successful, especially on Twitch. Um, but like my viewership in YouTube, however, is like like in the hundreds, stuff like that. Like I think I just dropped like the Final Fantasy XIV video recently, about 8 days ago, and I think it has about like 150 views or something now.
Nice.
Um, yeah, but like honestly, like my mentality is just like I'm just doing it because like I enjoy it, you know, and like the viewership will come. I have a video that I made of like I think it was like 2020, 2021's QuaiCon. And that thing has like 800 something plus views, and like you know I'm pretty happy with that. You know, as long as I know that people are watching it, like I'm happy. Yeah.
I remember once KawaiCon was over, I think in 2021, I was like, can I see myself? Am I gonna like, because I saw a lot of people taking vlogs while attending the con. So I'm wondering if I appeared in anybody else's like videos, and I found myself I think twice while looking up like YouTube like KawaiCon 2022, 2023. I'm just like, oh I'm like I'm sticking out like like in a crowd. I was like, oh, well at least I'm easy to spot.
Yeah, and like I used to have this video like this vlog this like QuaiCon 2017 or 2018, I think 2017, but yeah, I posted that, and like it came with a compilation too. And then the next year I was like recording stuff. I was just like asking this one cosplayer like, oh, do you mind if I record you for like this little video project that I usually do every year? And she's just like, oh yeah, you're that guy like who posted that vlog with like a bunch of his friends, right? Like I'm like, what? Like how do you know that? Like I'm like I mean like yeah, that's me. And like she like showed like the video like on her phone, and like no way, like I couldn't believe it. Like I cannot express to you how surreal it is for like someone to like some random stranger you do not know say like, oh yeah, I've seen your video, like I know you. I'm like, that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
I don't really know how to like kind of uh portray those feelings, but like it's such a nice feeling, you know. Yeah.
Like I did good, like, or like someone like like where we are just like has seen your work, and it's just like, for real, like that. It's just like small world, I guess.
Yeah, and it even comes down to just recently too, when I posted a video for like again that 14 video. Like I just checked up on Juan's stream, who was like again one of the VTubers who I had the pleasure of interviewing, and he's just like casually like, oh yeah, check this guy out. It's just like, oh okay, like like it's hard for me to like kind of um like uh not appreciate, but kind of accept those like shoutouts and stuff like that,
Yeah.
even though like it's like the best way for you to get like traffic onto your channel. It's just like it's just like it's just a weird feeling, you know.
Yeah. I don't do well when people like shout me out, or like what's it called, because I'm just like, I don't deserve it. No, like don't give it to me. Like it's like, oh, but you do because you're streaming. Like it was kind of that weird thing where it's like I don't do well with compliments, and I don't know how to respond back to them. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's just like a me thing, honestly.
But yeah. So you've mentioned a bunch of like friends you've met, like online, and you said you've met them for like what, 4 years now? Were they just from streaming, or was it purely from Final Fantasy XIV?
Mainly from 14, and they just happen to be streamers. One of them, Osnarin, check him out. He's like a really nice guy. But he actually, I don't think he was streaming when I met him. So like, I think only now he's streaming. But other than that, all my other streamer friends, I've met them through 14 first, and then found out that they were like streamers. So
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. Hmm. Okay. I think it's interesting just because like usually like people are more prone to like push themselves out like out there for publicity or like whatever, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm a streamer, and then like I talk about games, but or like I play video games, right? But like it's interesting to me because like you've mentioned they were just playing, and then oh, you found out later that they were streamers. Were they doing it before, or was it just like it just so happened to be oh they started streaming and then or playing and then streaming?
Um, I think one of them was streaming before, but I feel like the other ones kind of just like started streaming casually, and it wasn't really to like for like any monetary gain or whatever. And at the same time, going into 14, a lot of people in my free company or guild, they do like kind of like hardcore content, and they usually like stream like their POV so that like they can watch it later and like talk to like their raid team and say like, oh yeah, like you weren't supposed to be here, or like this is how we do this mechanic, or yeah. But then I think it just slowly became like uh just a couple just like a small handful of people just started like streaming legitimately, like not just for like a POV or whatever, but like actually like because they enjoy streaming like me.
Mm, that's good. I mean, I started streaming just because like everyone else was streaming like back then during the pandemic. I had like maybe five, six friends who really like was pushing streaming for like everybody. Make like a community for us, and then like oh our viewers could jump to our stream or whoever else's stream like afterwards once someone else was done because we did live in different time zones, and
Mm.
we tried, and like I eventually caught on, but I think everyone kind of faded out as like school came back. um, People got more busy like getting jobs and stuff like that, so it was hard, but I think it was still a lot of fun when we had like everyone else start streaming.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that was like the major thing for me to get started was just everyone else starting.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a not really butterfly effect, but like the snowball
Hmm.
effect for me. And yeah, I think with COVID, like people were just finding ways to kind of like cope with it,
Yeah.
and I found like 14 to be like my method of coping. But at the same time, like around like the end, or I don't know if like the pandemic's quote unquote ended yet, but like just about like 2 or 3 years ago, that's when I started like streaming just for the heck of it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The pandemic is such a weird topic. I
Yeah.
think it's just such a weird period of our time that like it brought up like a lot of um like things or personality traits in people that like you would never have gotten unless you're like really like extremely close to them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I have to thank the pandemic because I gained like a lot of like really close friends during that time. Like a lot of friends that like I probably would have never met if I haven't like made that account for Final Fantasy 14. you know? Um because like I was like holed up with like a couple of friends who are considered very close back then, but then like the pandemic unfortunately like changed people. I don't really understand like the kind of science or like behavior behind it, but it was a very weird time,
Yeah.
you know.
Definitely. I mean, I think that time was like, what do we do? Kind of people are like in panic. Like people are getting ready. People are lining up to go to Costco. Like buy out the whole store essentially, right? And like it was a hard time for people, but I think for a lot of people it was good for them to find an escape which was either through streaming or watching like content creators on, TikTok, YouTube, or wherever else, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like a lot of like streamers like blew up hard during the pandemic year. Like I remember like I used to be a big I still am, but like I became a big fan of offline TV um because of the pandemic, and like I just remember like it them being such like a niche name to almost becoming like a household name like
Yeah.
at that point. Like it was absolutely crazy. And again, going back to VTubers, like people were like talking like how it's like such a weird niche kind of like variant of streaming. But like nowadays, like if you go into Twitch now, like almost everyone there is a VTuber. You know, like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I think VTubing definitely got popular during the pandemic, and I think people just needed like something else to help cope with that, right? Not even like Hololive, you have Niji, and all these other corporations making VTubers, but also having like independent VTubers, right? As yourself too, right?
Yeah, like you really gotta like give credit to like the indie VTubers. Like like there's a lot of us on the market, like that's for sure. Like I feel like the indie VTuber scene is kind of oversaturated, but like it's a very optimistic uh oversaturation. Like I'm just really happy that a lot of people have like kind of taken this opportunity to like express themselves and like kind of put themselves out there, uh you know and like the big benefit with VTubing is that you can conceal your identity. The confidentiality is like the biggest, I feel like it's the biggest plus for VTubing,
Mm-hmm.
which is partly the reason why I wanted to do it in the first place. I'm kind of like a very private person. I only like talk to like a couple of friends about like things, but VTubing just allows me to kind of like be somebody and then like be completely myself like the next.
The next time you sh- you know
Yeah.
got it. And I guess moving on, this is the question I ask mainly everybody, and kind of a big thing I want to ask everybody that comes onto this episode or comes onto this series is, if not for content creation, would gaming be where it is now?
mm. I mean, that's a good question, but I feel like content creation and gaming, like no matter like, it will just eventually happen. But like if you're saying like if so like you're saying like gaming, would gaming be bigger, would still be as big as it is now if like content creation didn't exist? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
mm, I feel like no, mainly because like um a lot of games especially now are like very like socially, like focused socially on like social aspects, and like um I don't think gaming would be thriving as hard as it is now, because content creation and gaming is such a, they work hand in hand together very very well. And oh my gosh, my brain's not working. But sorry. Um, like content creation allows gaming to give, uh, content creation allows gaming a sort of platform that they can stand on to kind of stand out. And you know, I know there's like also like word of mouth and stuff like that, but like um the fact that you're able to see like a thriving community through like these like content made on YouTube for like specific games and stuff like that, it kind of like entices you to try the game out, right?
Hmm.
And like I feel like people sharing like cutscenes or like footage from the game is also like a good like way to like kind of market your game
Yeah.
without you having to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like, oh, cool, like this happens, or like check out this awesome like scene where like this guy beats up like 18,000 people at the same time, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, you're like, whoa, like I want to do that. Like, that's in a video game, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
and like, I feel like also just seeing like that sense of community also, like I said, um, is what makes gaming so uh, as strong as it is today. Because at the end of the day, we're very social people, creatures, whatever you want to call yourselves. But yeah, if people don't see that your game is thriving, they're not gonna come in. You know?
Yeah. I
And
think. Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to also say that like content creation also brings up like a lot of like things that also need to be talked about, in gaming. You know, um like I feel like without content creation, then like nobody would be able to really have a platform to speak up about like controversies or like things that are that need change in the gaming community or whichever game that you're focusing on. Like like the whole like Unity thing that just happened recently. I feel like without content creation, like that would have just gone by and nobody would have known.
Yeah.
It allows people within like not only the community but also like the kind of like the development team to kind of like speak out without like having being chained by the game that they're representing and whatnot.
I see. um, you mentioned like I want to do that, like all that kind of stuff. When you like watch people play the games, I thought about like the time where I was watching RT Game playing Rhythm Doctor, and like
Mm.
I love rhythm games. I'm not very good, but like I love to play them. So I remember watching him play it. Like he edited down his whole like entire playthrough on YouTube, and I really just wanted to play the game, so I bought it. And I was like, you know what, this is a good game. Like I finished it,
Mm.
and I kept playing it because it's just like I really liked what I saw, and they're still in early access. That game is still in early access. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, it just allows people to like look at games and like kind of like browse, see what they enjoy, you know? And like also I don't know, man. It's such a weird thing to kind of like think about when cuz like, without content creation, like gaming would probably be in a sinkhole right now. But without vice versa, like one cannot exist without the other.
mm,
Yeah.
right, there was like the whole video game crash in like I think '87. I want to say, I forget,
Mm.
but like I think content creation really pushed it because like I remember watching videos back then in like 2006 2007 on YouTube where people would upload them playing games, and I'm just like, these are games that I would want to like I'm finding out, and like finding out like I really like these games. Like back then Chuck Conroy was playing like Earthbound, and I really liked the game, so I finally picked it up for myself when it was like fully available for me. Like on
Mhm.
the 3DS, or like accessibility, right, was like so hard back then. But now like you have these people playing these games, and you're more exposed to other people, like, or to more games, and I think that really like enhances like the life span of the game. You know what I mean? Like people notice it and people are like now part of a community, right? Of like are just are of like a community of people who are like fans of the game, right? And
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
having that community too is just amazing.
yeah. A game cannot exist without a community. That's just like the bottom line. And like again, like you said, you know, like accessibility is like such a big thing too. A lot of people like are unable to like get specific games because like they might be region locked, or it's hard to get that console, or that game probably has like limited copies and they still want to enjoy it, or like they want to see like other people enjoy like their favorite childhood game, or like you know uh maybe they're not as skilled um as like the people who make like that content, like they enjoy. Some people just like watching how like optimized people can play like a specific game, you know what I mean, or like how skillfully people can play a game. But also at the same time, like they also enjoy just like watching like friendships grow in gaming communities or like in content. I know, like I think, what was it, like Vanos was like very big back then, and like his whole shtick was just like him like having fun like with his friends, right? And that's just like such a relatable thing for people to like kind of enjoy, and like it just allows them to like create content while also being themselves. And like it's kind of weird, and it's like kind of an iffy topic too, because um like putting yourself out there, and like you know uh like friendships in like the online space is kind of a little bit scary, because like especially with VTubers, like parasocial relationships are like a very very like extremely scary and real thing that like a lot of VTubers have to go through, and just streamers in general, right?
Hmm.
um which I think is like a very like very negative con for like just content creation or streaming in general. But like I feel like a lot of people are like aware of that, but they're still willing to do what they want to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, there are definitely some major cons to streaming, like as you said, parasocialisms and people getting way too attached, thinking like they're a part of the group, but like they're not, right? And people go crazy over that kind of stuff too, right? People are like
Hmm.
acting like, yeah, no, I'm with them, like, and then they go up to them like, no, you're not. Who are you? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And don't act out, like don't act out for me. Let me do my thing, kind of thing. Like, I think I saw this with like a bunch of like a Hollow Life people, or like fans of Hollow Life stuff, and I'm just like,
Hmm.
that's crazy. How like with the lengths that people go to for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, actually, that even happened in Nijisanji, and not too late, not too recently. Um, I from what I remember, one of the VTubers, his name is Voxakuma. Apparently, a fan like figured out their address and started like digging through like their garbage and everything, and it went so bad that he actually had to move. It's like, yeah, that's a very scary part um about like just streaming or just content creating in
Hmm.
general.
Yeah.
But also I feel like that's just because like a lot of people who watch uh videos in gaming, or just like watch streamers, they just like they're looking for that comfort, you know. um we don't know if they're like going through like a very like hard kind of like period of their life, or like they're just kind of hard, they kind of struggle to socialize outside of like the spectrum of like the internet, or like VTubing or gaming or whatever, and it just gives them kind of a platform to not only remain anonymous but like kind of voice their opinion or um kind of feel like they're involved with something big, you know.
Mm, I see. And yeah, it's just like it's scary, like what people do, like when they find out where you live. Like I've heard like the multiple instances of like FBI raids, right, that are on Twitch, and that's why I personally kind of want to switch to being a VTuber at the same time, try to be safe and all that kind of stuff. But I think at the end of the day, it's like those people will get in trouble, like for doing that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, and actually, like countries are like doing things to specifically punish like these people who are kind of like violate or like interfere with like streamers' lives. Like a very good example of that is actually the Japanese government. I think they like passed like a law or like a bill or something where it's like uh people over the internet can now be like um eligible to be like persecuted for like slander, right? Because that's like another big thing about VTubing is like a lot of people, or just in content creation or just like being famous in general, it's just like you're always gonna have people that hate you and like people who are gonna like dedicate their lives to like try and ruin yours. And yeah, Japan recently just like passed something that allowed like at least if you're in like a corporate VTuber entity like Hololive, Mijisanji, Bishojo, um they allowed the company to kind of like persecute those people and like find them and punish them, which I think is amazing because like um especially with VTubing, like a lot of people kind of like use VTubing to kind of like bully those people because like they know they wouldn't have like negative repercussions because like you're on the internet. At the end of the day, like you're anonymous, right? People will not know who you are unless you actively put yourself out there. But like these people are smart, but like now that they have like this thing specifically to combat that, like it's just great. It's not just great for company VTubers, but also for like indie VTubers too.
Yeah, I definitely think that at least that's a good thing, because if not, then people are gonna keep doing it over and over again, and it doesn't help with with people just having to deal with that, like especially if they're like your favorite content creator. Like, why would you go out and do that to them? It's crazy to think about, to me especially. Back to the first topic, or well, the main topic. I think that like with gaming, it's so crazy to think that we have like events for these games. Like I usually mention FanFest, right? FanFest is a huge one. We have things like full on conventions for video games, and I don't think that would be plausible without like these pro players or like streamers and YouTubers like coming out, and if they weren't there making content, then I don't think like all these social events or these like major things would be happening in general. I think it would just be very boring for gaming, or gaming would not be like alive per se.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but also like there's also kind of a part of me that's like yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be as big as it is now, right? Without like content creators or members of like the community that like kind of like put themselves out there. But at the same time, like I don't know. I feel like the game would still be able to. I feel like games would still be able to survive.
Hmm. I see.
Um, yeah, conventions would suck, but like I feel like conventions without like content creators and whatnot can still be successful.
Yeah.
You just have to have like a really strong community, like the
Without.
14 community.
Hmm.
Like, I remember I think they didn't even allow us to have like specific like I wasn't allowed to bring my gimbal
Mm.
um to FanFest, so I don't know if like they allowed streaming in there because like I know IRL streaming is like a very big thing now.
Yeah.
Um, but like cosplayers were there, streamers were there, like, but like people didn't go there mainly or specifically for those people, right? They go there for the love of the game.
Yeah.
But they also go there to like just meet their friends. A lot of people in FanFest, like I'm not the only one, right, who has had this experience, but like a lot of people on FanFest are meeting their friends that they have met online for probably the first time ever,
Hmm.
which is like kind of like the big driving force of FanFest, I guess you could say, where you get to meet or hang out with your online friends, uh, and like kind of just like hang out with them, you know. And a lot of people, I guess you could say, like they treat FanFest as like an annual. I mean, like FanFest is like a semi-annual event, not semi-annual, but it happens every other year. I don't know the term. I have VTuber brain rot.
Biannual, I
Yeah,
guess.
biannual. Thank you. Yeah, but yeah, they treat it as just like a just like a regular get together.
Hmm. I got
Yeah.
it.
So I think even without content creation, like gaming will still thrive, albeit not as big as it is now.
Hmm.
Because
Got it.
there's always gonna be that sense of community that's gonna carry that game forward,
Hmm.
and just like that drive for other people to like kind of meet each other and like people who share that common interest of that specific game, forming communities that like kind of push the game uh into like further heights and whatnot. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I guess we're coming up on time here, but do you have any other like last things you want to put out there? And also, do you want to drop your where they can find you as well?
Oh, yeah, sure. Um, yeah, I think one of like the things I do want to say is if you ever think about streaming, just try it out. It doesn't matter if you have one or five or like six viewers, or if all of your viewers are just bots or whatever. Like, you know, it's really the consistency that really gets you an audience, and just like allowing yourself to not be vulnerable, but just like for you to be outgoing when you stream is like a very big one. Don't be afraid to like kind of talk to chat, or like kind of instigate a conversation with your chat. And you know don't really care about like the games that you stream. I see a lot of people like say like, oh, you're gonna stream this game because it's gonna be big, or like this one has a bigger community, so more chances to get viewers. But no, just stream what you love,
Hmm.
and your community will find you. And like, I wouldn't have it any other way, because um I feel like it would be better to have a community or of viewers that enjoy the same thing as you do, whereas like having a community of viewers who just like are there just for that specific game and that game only. They're gonna be forcing you to like play that game over and over again, and you get burnt out and whatnot. Yeah, so definitely try it out, especially VTubing. Like I cannot say enough how much like I enjoy VTubing. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I will get a 2D model someday soon.
Hmm.
Yeah. My socials, you can find me SmolBeanRuby on YouTube, also twitch.tv/SmolBeanRuby also. Um, I usually stream during near the weekends or like when possible, but I usually try to um I do these things called like guerrilla streams. Basically, like that's just like fancy talk to saying I stream whenever I want to. Yeah. So yeah. Other than that, yeah, it was just really fun to talk, and thank you again for this opportunity. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Just like kind of talking about the things that I love.
Yeah. Alrighty, and that's all the time we have for Behind the Screens, episode 3. Thank you again to SmolBeanRuby for being here and participating in this episode. And I will see you guys later in the next one. Bye.
Bye.